The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
This week's episode of PSVG Prime is brought to you by the amazing Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/PSVG. Huge thank yous to Coach Hulk, Edwin Callow, Barry Cathcart, Josh Barboni, Chris M, Devin Tyus, Paul Calico, Kyle Heyman, Benny Lou, Joel Voss, Professor Switch, and also new Patreon supporter, Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. Thank you all for being our super special executive producers, but thank you to everybody who listens to PSVG and everybody who supports us over at Patreon. In case you did not know, what you get for being Patreon supporters, not just helping us do what we do, but we give back to you. Help us to help you, folks. Help us to help you. You get Arcadia Academia every week most of the time. You get Kevin Hates Everything, which thank you to everybody for the huge shout outs for the last episode. It seems like everybody liked what I hated on last episode, so that was a lot of fun. You get PSVG DLC show, which is always interesting and raunchy. And honestly, you never really know what's going to come out of those shows. And heck, we don't have the time when we hit record, so enjoy those. But probably everybody's favorite of everything is you get entered into our Patron of the Month club, basically, which allows you a chance to enter in some free giveaways. Current offerings include $20 to Apex Legends, NBA 2K Playgrounds 2 on Nintendo Switch, or $20 to the eShop of your choosing. And as I've been saying all month long, Lucas and I tossed in another one of those sweet PSVG black polo shirts for this month's giveaway. You have one more week to sign up and get entered. Otherwise, you'll have to wait till next month, and something else will go into that box. So head on over to patreon.com/PSVG. But enough of that. It's time to get on with the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of PSVG Prime, the only gaming podcast that's closed captioned for the hearing impaired. It is I, your host, Kevin, and with me is my hearing impaired? No. Intellectually impaired? Nope. Good-looking impaired? No, definitely not that one. Anyway, it's Lucas Rose. How are you doing today, sir?
You know what? I'm pants impaired. That's what I am.
Oh, my. And I'm the only one who sees this video, folks.
That's right. Or as Coach would call them, leg prisons. Ain't no leg prisons on me, boy. I'm free as can be. I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm not as tired this week. I didn't do 1,500 things before the podcast like I did last week, so Oof. I'm in good shape.
I can only do like 2 things in a day before I'm just like, yeah, I need this day to be over.
Well, you're responsible for the well-being of 2 small children all day, so that's
true.
If you even count that as one thing, and you're probably not counting that as one of the 2 things you do.
No, I'm not.
That's an all-day event, so that's okay.
It's true. That's my default state of being, is constantly just taking care of 2 children. Have you ever seen the gif of Homer Simpson walking on the beach and he's carrying Lisa and Bart, and yes. Bart is like smashing his face in and Lisa's doing something else? I'm like, that's my life all the time, it seems like.
Yeah.
So that's me now.
That's pretty accurate. See, I had 2 around the same age a long time ago, so I know where you've been, and now I just have 1 around that age, and it's hard enough with just that at this point. So, yeah.
I hear you. All stages. You got all the stages going on right now.
I really do. The teenager thing that's in full swing, man. I don't know what to do with that one. And I know spoilers for PSVG DLC. Donnie wanted to do like a dad cast and get all the dads and get some advice, because Donnie's just hitting that tween age with his daughter, and like she's being a handful, so he wanted to have some feedback and support there, but I can't make that one, unfortunately, though I have the most experience in that. But it'll be interesting to hear what the guys say. Maybe I can contribute somehow. But yeah, having a teenager at this point, it's not easy. She always wants something, whether it's, for you to do something, for you to drive her somewhere, for somebody to sleep over, for her to sleep over somewhere else. I need money for this, but I don't want to work for the money. And just, dude, it's horrible.
Great. Something to look forward to.
You got a long time for that happens.
It's true.
And you'll hit the boy first, and that I have 0 experience in, so I don't know how that's going to be. A teenage boy is got to be very different than a teenage girl, as we all know from
class. I'm just praying he's like me Nice. That he's like me and does not want to do any sports, has no interests beyond things I'm already interested in, so I don't have to buy anything.
That's true. Just get him on Humble Bundle and call it a day.
Yep, exactly. If he likes hockey, I'm screwed. That's like another credit card just for hockey equipment.
Yeah, it is.
I gotta start pretending like I don't like hockey and be like, no, sports are terrible. What are you talking about?
I like just to watch hockey. I don't want to play it. That would, boy, you would sweat. Do you know what that does to a human being?
Exactly. This is why baseball is America's pastime, because all you need is a baseball glove, a baseball, and a bat. And half the time you don't even need those things because somebody else will bring that stuff.
That's very true. That's a good point.
We were all poor after the Great Depression. I remember I was there. You got a stick, you got a ball that who knows where that came from, and you got a piece of leather that used to be your pants, and you put it on your hand to catch the ball. You're done. Stick ball.
That's it.
Boom.
And some chewing tobacco. You need that too.
That's right. It gives you a little oomph on that. You put it on the bat and then knock it into the neighbor's yard. There's the dog. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, your life is the Sandlot.
Are you just? Yeah, I was gonna say you just literally quoting the Sandlot at this point.
Yes. I never played baseball. It's too boring. So
it is, and too long. I don't want to play a sport for 4 or 5 hours. No,
I don't want to play a sport that is known for having a stretch so that people don't fall asleep while they're watching it. Yes. What is that about?
You should at least be able to eat the hot dogs while you're playing. If you're in the outfield and like nothing's going on, you should be able to get a hot dog done.
Oh yeah, they need a hot dog cannon. They shoot the players. Yes. Yeah. It's like that guy looks bored. Phew, there's a hot dog.
Right to the face.
Phew, here's the beer.
And no one wants that.
No, not at all.
So believe it or not, we're here to talk about video games, not our ridiculous nonsense.
What are those?
Yeah, I don't know, man. We should just do 1 week where we don't talk about video games at all and really just throw people off. Just a whole hour of our tangents going into random stuff. That'd be fun.
I don't think anyone would be surprised by that at all.
No, but it might be funny after like an hour when like we end the show and they go like, wait, they didn't talk about video games at all. Like,
at the last minute, be like, so you want to talk about what we've been playing this week? I don't think there's time.
Yeah, we're out of time. Sorry guys.
See you guys.
Yeah.
I like
it.
And
then we go play Pummel Party together or something instead.
That sounds very wrong.
Pummel Party?
We go play Pummel Party together?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's just me then.
All right, we can invite Josh too. Fine, there could be 3 of us pummeling our party.
I assumed he would be there. You said Pummel Party.
Well, yeah. Who else is gonna play? Let's be real.
Exactly.
All right, let's talk about what we've been playing.
Sure.
I don't know who should go first. You want to go first?
I'll go first. I feel like I usually don't go first, especially when circus. I'll go. Lego City Undercover. I've been playing this with my son. Now, we kind of stopped playing it for a while. This is the one I was complaining that there weren't enough two-seater cars.
Yes.
It seems like all the cars were one-seater. That actually goes away after a while once you start unlocking more vehicles and kind of recognizing what has 2 seats in it. Yeah. And it's usually the cars you wouldn't expect, like a lot of the construction vehicles, or not construction vehicles, like the city vehicles, like a dump truck or the street sweeper baby, any of that stuff, the SUVs. That stuff will have 2 seats, and that kind of helped a little bit, but now he's better at driving, weirdly, so he can actually get around on his own.
I remember you told me, he was like, Dad, you want to go to the donut shop or whatever? And then he actually drove you to the donut shop. You're like, wait a minute.
Yes, that was crazy. I was just texting, and I look up, and I'm like, what? We're at the donut shop. You were being serious. It's kind of scary, actually. So we've almost beat the game, actually. We just unlocked the last outfit costume slot, which was the construction worker. Which was an interesting level because there were a ton of Arnold Schwarzenegger puns and jokes and everything, and I really appreciated that. So that was fun. So I've come to actually really love this game, Mac. I don't have a huge affinity towards Lego in general. I never really grew up with him, but this game is pretty cool. I like it better than Lego Worlds, actually, because I thought at first Lego Worlds was going to be like Minecraft, but there's no systems to it at all, really. It's just brick building. So once you have to make your own fun, it kind of is not structured enough for a kid who's just about 4 years old. He needs a little bit more of a structure there. So we've kind of come back into Lego City, so I think we'll beat it. and then we'll probably come back and unlock most everything because he loves unlocking all the different cars, and we just got helicopters and all that stuff. So yeah, it's a fun little exercise, and we really only play it together, so it's kind of amazing that we're going to finish it, but that's what it's looking like anyway. So
no, it's cool. It's cool, and I enjoyed it. I played it on the Wii U, and it had like super bad load times then, but when they re-released it on the Switch, and then I think that's when I went to PC and stuff, like they fixed a lot of the things, and it was a really good underrated game where it was nice to have a Lego game that wasn't structured around a franchise or a movie or something like they kind of all have been. It was different to have something that's like, well, no, it's not tied to Batman or the Lego movie or Lord of the Rings or whatever the case is. So It was nice. It was a good detour.
And open world too, which is nice. Yeah. You go to the levels, and then those are more like the traditional movie franchise levels. Mm-hmm. But it's nice to have that open world hub that's basically, San Andreas or something like that, where you just have this big open city. So it gives him something to do. That's all he wants to do is drive around and all that stuff. He doesn't care about the missions as much. I usually end up doing that. But that's always nice in a co-op game when only one person really has to do anything, and the other person can just kind of tag along. So that's kind of what's helped us keep going, basically. So, Lego City Undercover. Next, I tried this on Xbox Game Pass.
Okay.
I've heard of it. I've heard about it before. It's basically a turn-based strategy simulation game called Space Hulk. I don't know what it is about Warhammer 40K games that I keep ending up playing them.
Yeah, right.
Or Warhammer in general. There's 40K and I don't know, 40 BC. I don't know, whatever the medieval one is.
Yeah.
And it seems like I keep running into Games Workshop games. But this looked interesting because I tried out the other turn-based combat game that they had, which was Invictus I can't even remember.
I think I remember you talking about that before.
Yeah, I talked about it a little bit. That one is a little bit different than this one. In Space Hulk, I guess there's these things out in space where all of these junkers, all these junked warships and battleships and starships all combine in a gravity well and basically become a Space Hulk, a giant, massive floating metal in space. Mm-hmm. And there's these alien creatures on this Space Hulk that are your main antagonist, I guess, your main enemy. And this Space Hulk is heading towards this planet that is so on your side at the very least. I don't know if you control it or if it's like Iwo Jima or something. Like it's a very good structural thing to occupy. I don't know. Obviously, I've only played it for a couple hours, but it was interesting enough to talk about because it sort of plays out like a board game. It's interesting because you're playing as these Marines, and they're really big, power armored dudes. And a lot of the time, these hallways are one space large. So you're trying to get from point A to point B most of the time. And you're fighting enemies that keep spawning. So you got to keep moving. But you're also controlling your facing and however many action points you have. Usually you start with like 4, and so when you move in the same direction you can move 4 spaces, but if you need to turn you can only move 3 and then change your facing.
So that counts as one move is you turning.
Yes, yeah, okay. Because you're in this big battle armor, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense, yeah.
So you also have to worry about stacking up because you're all in hallways, so sometimes you can only go one person at a time down the hallway, follow the leader basically. But you're also setting up Overwatch. Overwatch is one of my most favorite mechanics in a strategy game. I don't know what it is, but I don't know, it makes something click in my brain, and I like that. So Overwatch isn't free either. So you're constantly managing your move points against your ability to go into Overwatch, which also plays into your facing because you can only watch a certain, north, south, east, west, whatever you're facing. So I played a little bit of it, and it's pretty good. I like it. The combat is a little bit weird because it kind of feels like if you don't go into Overwatch, you are doing yourself a disservice because the combat outside of that feels weird. Because if you move, you can shoot, but you can only shoot once. If you go into Overwatch, you can shoot at anything that moves into your field of view. So you basically are getting free attacks on everything. Whereas if you purposefully go out of your way to hit something on your turn, you only shoot the one time, and that's that. So I guess it kind of saves your butt in case something gets through the first time. One thing that's kind of a weird quirk about it is that you're usually looking at this from an isometric point of view, but for some reason it has a first-person perspective. You can literally move around in first person and spend your action points as you like move through the squares. It sounds weird, but it actually looks really cool.
Right.
I don't know what tactical use it has whatsoever.
I would say it's actually gonna be harder in my mind to like look at your map and be like, okay, I need to get around here because you're only seeing. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it totally is. It totally is. It makes the game look nicer because there's a lot more detail when you get down in there. But yeah, it's basically useless from what I can tell. So
just pretty.
Yeah, just pretty. Interesting game. I'm hoping to play a little bit more of it, but I said that about the other game too. And but the problem with the other game is it wasn't as tactical, I felt like, as this is. So we'll see. We'll see if this stays fresh in my mind. The main game I'm playing right now, though, is Wolfenstein 2.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, the new Colossus, I think it is called.
Yep.
And also on Xbox Game Pass. I'm like this close from canceling a little bit.
I told you, there's so much stuff there, and they add tons of stuff every month.
Exactly.
Kingdom Come Deliverance, that just hit Game Pass.
I know. It's like, oh, God. At least I didn't buy that one. Technically, I did because I got through Humble Bundle. Yep. So, yeah, exactly. And I mean, there's so much stuff that I can't even get through everything I'm getting through Humble Bundle anyway. So, Wolfenstein. So I did play the first one, and I really enjoyed it. And this one kind of picks up right where the last one left off, which I like. And it's like right away, it's very cinematic. Very gritty and dark. Like, you know what you're getting into. You're like, okay, all joy has been sucked out of my life now because I'm playing this game. And in a good way, though. Like in a cinematic, dark, gritty.
It's meant to.
Way.
Right.
Yes,
right.
exactly. It's about an alternate universe where the Nazis win. So, I mean, how can that be, joyous?
I mean, maybe for the Nazis, they might be having fun, but.
Right. Well, we got rid of all of them, right? Right? That's not a problem anymore, right?
Right? No.
Guys, we figured that one out. I'm being told we did not figure that one out. Dang it.
Shoot.
Missed it by this much. Speaking of missing it by this much, so as much as I'm enjoying how good this game looks and just how smooth it is, man, it's kind of like Doom in the sense it looks good, but it's also smooth and plays really well. The problem I'm having right now, and I actually turned on my FPS counter to see if I'm getting 60 frames per second because I've played with controller and mouse and keyboard, and both it kind of feels a little bit more like I'm swinging a gun around as opposed to like pointing where I want to shoot at, like in Doom. In Doom, it feels like you point here and you shoot.
Yeah.
In this game, it kind of feels like there's a little bit of weight to the cursor. Just a little tiny bit. Not so much that it's bad, but I found myself, even with the iron sights, having a difficult time shooting anything. Okay. More often than not, I just sneak around, like in the U-boat mission, or when you're at the very beginning, when you're on the airship thing. I usually sneak around and throw an axe at somebody because I find that one hit kill is working out a lot better for me, or a silent kill too.
Yeah.
And not to be confused with Silent Hill too. And so I don't know. It just feels a little bit weird. Grenade throwing feels a little bit off too.
Yeah, that feels off. Yeah.
Because it goes off after you let go of the button, it seems like, but it doesn't have that visceral, like you're clicking off the seconds off the grenade. You're cooking it, So there's a little bit to get used to yet. And that's kind of where I'm at right now, is like getting the feel for it.
Okay.
So right. I played about 2 hours. I imagine this one I'm going to play to completion. So
it's a lot of fun, and I get what you're saying. I never thought about it being kind of weightiness of the way he moves. But yeah, you got to figure Doom Guy and BJ Blazkowicz are two different in the way they move and stuff. Like BJ's a bigger, slower guy.
Well, and he's damaged for most of the beginning. I haven't had any problems with that, but I remember, I'm sure they patched it by now, but I remember people saying it's very difficult because you only have half your health or whatever it is.
Yeah. At the beginning, that gets better. Yeah. All right. Oh, I'll this is a good transition because I played Wolfenstein 2, but not 2. I played more Youngblood.
Exactly.
Literally right before the show, and I was streaming it with Donnie. Devin was watching it, and we played for maybe about 45 minutes the second or third mission in the game, because we played the first one. I played the second one solo, convinced him to come back and do the third one. After 45 minutes, Donnie promptly uninstalled the game. I don't know what it is. It is, sorry children, balls hard. Like I don't know what it is. Like we were playing on easy, and I would unload like 3 or 4 clips into the face of someone that's not even like a mech soldier, just like the commander. So he's just in the Nazi suit with nothing else, in the face, and he would not go down. Devin witnessed this, and like Donnie and I tried like 5 or 6 times just to get to this one room, and we couldn't even get through. Like we tried sneaking, tagging the enemies, going up behind them, stealth kills, but there was like 30 guys, so eventually they see you. There's no way to hide from everybody.
Yeah.
So they'll hit the alarm, and then more people come in. So after a couple of times, we did okay. Took down like half the people, and we're like, all right, I think we got this down. We're moving around, always moving. You can't stand still at all. So we're always moving, and then the dogs come out. The dogs also have dynamite strapped to them, and they just run into you and explode. Oh, no. So you don't even you barely have time to process that they're there and try and shoot them before they hit you and explode, immediately killing you. Like, it is insane. So after like a couple times, we were like, Donnie's like, it's not me, and I'm like, no, it's not you. I was like, this is ridiculously hard. And Dev's watching the stream. He's like, this does not look like fun at all, So I was like, you know what, Donnie, hop off. I was like, watch the stream, and I'm gonna try and do it solo. Let's see if it's any better. He's like, okay. So he's watching, and I did get further alone, but it's not his fault at all. So I'm not even saying that whole like, oh, Donnie sucks thing. It's not him. Trust me. As much as I like to make fun of him, it's not. He's fine. Made it further, but even then I can only make it into the next room before being overwhelmed again and just not being able to do anything. You die so quick, but enemies take so many bullets, like hundreds of bullets, that it's insane. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why it's such a radical change from Wolfenstein 2, but it makes me really angry. And I think what they're doing is, and Donnie brought this up on the stream, was they seem to be focusing on almost grinding and leveling up your character, because you gain experience points and you gain coins that you use to upgrade your weapons and stuff. And I feel like they're making you go through a loop, because it's kind of, I don't want to say it's open world. You'll see a little bit. Have you got to the point in Wolfenstein 2 where you have kind of like your home base and you can walk around to everyone's different rooms?
I just got to the home base. I haven't. Okay. Like, that's where I stopped, basically. Sure. I haven't even done anything.
Walked around. But so they have something similar to that in this one. It's like an underground bunker, and you kind of walk around. Okay. You get side missions. So it's a little bit different, because the main premise in this game is, BJ Blazkowicz is gone. You're his daughters. You need to get to where he is, but you need a computer code or something like that, and you have to take down the 3 Nazi brothers to get the codes you need. So basically, you only have 3 maps to go to, but you get side quests such as like, hey, while you're here, infiltrate this base and steal this computer or whatever. So you go into that map, but instead of going the main route, you might go in a different building, which triggers a different area. So it's very weird. It's like, it's very broken up.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of Deus Ex, like Human Revolution and that stuff, where you would get more stuff to do as you're collecting your main missions.
Exactly. So it's like you constantly go back to the same maps, and there's different things to do in those maps. Like, you might go in a different way. Like this one, I went back to the same map I had done previously, but we went down the sewers, which wasn't accessible to me before. So we're avoiding the main quest. It's not like we're trying to go for the end game boss like right away, because we'd get crushed. But so like, I'm wondering, like, do I then need to go back and do a different mission? Like, maybe I'm not strong enough to do that one. Like, I don't know what to do. I haven't uninstalled it yet, because I like the gameplay, and I like the Wolfenstein story and the world it's in, as depressing and horrible it is. But it just makes me mad this game kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Bullet sponges are never good.
No.
Never. No. Literally never. I've never seen anyone go, yes, the enemies are bullet sponges.
If at least that was the case, let me be a bullet sponge too, and that's not the case. Like, you get 4 or 5 good shots and you're just down. Like, there's nothing about it. It's nuts. So yeah, I'll probably still keep picking at it when I have time, but it's hitting the back burner now. Last week after the show, I did wrap up Dead Rising 4. Had a couple more hours of gameplay. It still was the same loop. You still make the wacky weapons, stuff like that. I don't think anything else was more memorable than the dinosaur spitting acid head I told you about last week. The story goes... I'm not going to give anything away because I hope more people play this, and it is on Game Pass.
I'm sure I will.
The story goes in a direction I wasn't expecting. So I'll just leave it as that.
That's usually a good thing for me anyway, so.
Yeah, I did not see the ending being the ending, and I was very surprised by it. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
But I still highly recommend the game. It's very fun. Like I said, it is super repetitive, but that's kind of the point of Dead Rising. Mm-hmm. And it's just fun hack and slash, grab weapons, blow stuff up, just hordes of zombies. It's tons of fun. Gears Pop hit mobile today. So Pop is in those Pop Vinyl characters. So it's the Gears of War game. It is an exact ripoff of what's it called? It's not Clash of Clans, but it's made by the same people.
I'm not very good in the mobile area because I hate mobile games.
Yeah, it's gonna annoy me, but like I need to tell people because other people will know. Clash Royale.
I thought it was Royale something.
Yeah.
But I'm like, Battle Royale? Am I confusing myself? What's going on?
Yeah. So it's a direct ripoff of this game, which is funny because it's not the same people that made the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lawsuit coming in later. But basic premise is it's you against an actual other person once you get past the tutorials. And you have a map, an overworld map. And your opponent's on one end, you're on the other. And you just, as you get points, as time goes by, you can drop characters onto the map. And they just go in a straight line to try and beat the boss. Basically, take down your opponent's towers. And different characters, different things, like some throw grenades, some has shotguns, some are good at swarming enemies. That's kind of all it is. It's just a loop where you just keep playing it over, but they're all done in Pop Vinyl Gears of War characters. It's kind of funny because they take like the voice actors from Gears of War, but they put them through like almost like a chipmunk filter, like Alvin the Chipmunk, so it makes them high pitch. Like this is the voice the Pop Vinyl would have, but you could tell it's clearly like Marcus Phoenix. It's still him.
Oh no.
Yeah, so it's funny. And it's interesting. Give it a shot. It's free, so not a big deal there. We have a PSVG clan that Coach Mo started because he's been beta testing this for a long time. I guess like the NDA is over now at this point because the game's out. But he's been playing it for a long time, so he's well ahead of everyone else. But
interesting.
We're playing it. It's kind of fun. Like I said, it's literally the same game as Clash Royale, just with Gears of War characters, good and bad. And you create your team. You upgrade your characters as you unlock more stuff. So it's just that normal mobile loop. Yes, there are microtransactions if you want to pay, but I don't really see any reason or desire to do so. But pretty fun. The last thing I want to talk about, Nier Automata, or Automata. I don't know how you say it, but
I think it's Automata. Automata-pia.
Yeah, Automata-pia. This was at the encouragement of Donnie, and I believe Kyle played it as well and talked about this a long time ago because he enjoyed it, I believe, as well. I don't know what I thought this game was, but whatever I thought it was, it's not that. So the premise is it's a post-apocalyptic world. You know, humanity's pretty much gone at this point. We had to leave the planet for whatever reason, but we're trying to repopulate the planet. But there's kind of android or robots that are kind of wandering the earth. And it's not like Terminator robots where it's like these are intimidating. It's like these rusty kind of like almost Pixar-esque, like Wall-E type robots.
Wall-E.
It's like that. So it's weird, but you're an android. So not a robot. You're an android. You're more sophisticated. Done in your typical Square Enix hyper-stylized, over-sexualized characters. And you're sent to these tasks to Earth by the humans to help run these missions to try and, I guess, get the world back in order. Couple things. So the first mission, like I knew that was the premise of the game. So I was expecting like a Final Fantasy game or a Kingdom Hearts type game.
Okay.
You drop into the game and the first mission literally plays out like Galaga. Like you're in a ship and you run around shooting and you're just it's like I was like, what is this? So you go through that part and then you drop down out of your ship and you're running around. You have your sword. You have this little robot thing that follows you around that shoots while you have your sword. And it's a side scroller. Now I'm like, this makes no sense. So I'm like going through the platforms, jumping, fighting enemies, keep going, almost like an original Mario game.
Yeah.
Then eventually I get down into the open world land and then it plays like Final Fantasy. So it's kind of like
the only part I've seen. I didn't know about the other things.
No, and I had no idea either. It's this really weird mashup of stuff. So I don't know how I feel about this game, to be honest. It's not bad. I'm interested to see where this goes, because I still don't really get the story. And just the mix mash of different playstyles also is kind of intriguing. The one thing I don't get, so you're playing as these android characters, and the premise is that they can die, and the humans will basically just take their memories and put them in another body. And that explains how you can die in the game but come back. So that's kind of their nuance. Okay. So your character has had this long history that you don't really know much about. And you have a companion who's the male robot thing. This is what I don't get, Lucas. You've probably seen the art. They wear blindfolds.
Yes.
There's no explanation as to why. At least not yet. Now about 4 or 5 hours in, I don't understand it. But yet they can see, because they look in the cutscenes, they're looking at stuff. So I have no idea.
There is one thing I know, and I have no idea if it answers that question or not. And I don't know if you'll want to know this or not. But
good.
I don't know how this plays into it at all. But I know that you're supposed to play it more than once, and the story changes.
I do know that.
I'm wondering how much is revealed later.
Right.
If you beat it once and then come back, and then you go back a little bit in time or something.
Maybe. I can promise you I will not be playing this more than once if I finish it, because I'm not enjoying it that much to be like, let's do it again, by any means. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to keep playing it. I'm not deleting or anything like that. I'm intrigued, but it is really kind of slow. It's kind of dull. And the other thing that I said with the over-sexualized part. So the outfits you wear make no sense. But that's typical Square Enix. So you're fighting these giant rusty robots. And I fought this first, I guess you could say, air quotes, boss. And this robot was much, much taller, the size of a building almost. Yeah. And at one point I knocked it over, so it fell on its back. And it's on its back, unable to get up. So what does it do, Lucas? It spreads open its legs, and from its mechanical penis, it starts shooting at me.
Of course it does.
And I don't understand why. It's such an odd game.
Because Japan, that's why.
It was coming right from his nuts and bolts, just right at me. I don't know what to say, but it was just, dude, it was.
There's never a moment where you're not like, what is happening right now? Why am I? I hope nobody walks in while I'm playing this.
Yeah, and I think Seth was playing this, and he hit something and he stopped playing, and I forget what it was. I don't know if I hit it or not already, because there was another thing I fought where it was he's fighting another android. Similar to you are, but they were completely butt naked. But it wasn't graphic because it was like a Ken doll. But it was still just weird to be if somebody walked downstairs, why are you beating that pale naked man with long hair with a sword who has no genitalia? But yeah,
there are reasons, okay? You, if you're gonna ask questions, you need to stick around from the beginning. Now sit down and watch me play this weird game.
yeah. So I have no idea. I can't recommend this game to anybody because I have no idea. I don't know if I like it.
Okay.
Yet, but
I have an answer to the visors question.
Okay.
Apparently, or to the blindfolds. Apparently, they're visors. It's a technical visor that all Yora androids wear, and they don't wear it of their own choosing. It is part of their daily duty as these androids to always keep it on. Because there was a stage play of Nier Automata that came out before the game released in Japan, and it's explicitly stated that the blindfolds are nanotech and act as visors that collect data from the environment.
That makes sense now. Well, no, it makes sense now that you say it, but they give you none of that.
Right,
Absolutely
and that's why this person on Steam asked the question. They have this long theory as to why this is about how they can't unleash their full power, so they have to be blindfolded or some crap like that. And then people are like, no, it's because they are visors. Because the person even said they can't be visors. They're blindfolds, clearly.
They do look like blindfolds. It's just black fabric. And it's not even straight across their eyes. It's tilted. So it's not even it makes no sense.
Well, if I've learned anything about video games, especially from Japan, you can just say that it's whatever you want it to be.
That's true.
One of the quiet breathes through her skin, and that's why she has to be naked. Sure, why not?
Sure, yeah, video
games.
That's a point I wanted to make too. That I didn't. It very much feels like a Kojima game, even though he had nothing to do with this at all. The story's just out there. The characters are weird like that. It just, I don't know.
Hey, I mean, that's I want somebody to say a Lucas game. I don't feel like that's a bad thing to say Kojima game. I'd be honored.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It depends if Caro's saying it's a Lucas game. Then we all know how she feels about you. You're the gross derisive uncle, I think. Gross uncle. Is that what she said? Yeah.
This is VR porn. Oh, that's a Lucas game. What? Just because
I like
VR.
Game. And I like porn doesn't mean I like VR porn.
Right. Keep the two things separate, man.
Yeah. God. All right, that's enough from us. That's
okay.
Let's get derailed. Let's hear from our listeners. It's time to check out the messages.
Message for you, sir.
So we have 3 from 2 people. So first one is a hot topic, not related to gaming at all, but it was quite the discussion in Discord. So Devin asks, question mark, which seems redundant, but okay. Why is there even a debate that Scrubs is better than Seinfeld and Friends combined? So Donnie posted something, I guess. Actually, no, start with Board of Video Games started this. Apparently they were talking about something, and they both sided with Friends, which I haven't listened to their episode yet, so I don't know. But it made Donnie mad because Donnie's a diehard Seinfeld guy.
Yeah.
And because this is what I do, I come in and say, I don't know what you're talking about because Scrubs is clearly the better. And then it unleashed the floodgates for everybody. But I will state the most amount of people liked my tweet saying Scrubs was better. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Wow. Here, you know what? I've barely seen any of these things, honestly.
You watch everything.
I watch movies. I don't tend to watch television that much. But I have seen the most of Friends because my wife watched them. My wife, it's really hard not to do that. I actually like kind of skipped the beat because I was like, am I going to say it normal or am I not? But then the choice was made for me. Mm-hmm. I heard Scrubs is really good. I want to watch, and obviously Seinfeld. I mean, I like Curb Your Enthusiasm. Same writer, Larry David. So
yeah.
I mean, I've seen episodes of all of these things except for maybe Scrubs. But can't we just all like what we like and not have to go on the internet and talk about it? Gosh.
I mean, maybe. But I'll make my case here. So I'm biased. I'm the Scrubs guy. But so I will say, no. There's not much thought because this isn't like something that just came up. I've always said like Scrubs is my favorite TV sitcom period of all time.
Okay.
And what I will say is Seinfeld and Friends are both great. And I've seen, I think, almost all of Seinfeld, if not all of Seinfeld.
Okay.
Seen all of Friends multiple times. Same thing. My wife has it. We have the box set on DVD. Like, that's how much of a fan she was. My 2 oldest kids now are obsessed with Friends. They've seen the whole thing numerous times. Like, that's just where they are.
Okay.
Seinfeld was a product of its time, as was Friends. Neither show has aged well at all. Like, a lot of the stuff isn't funny anymore, or now it would be borderline offensive to some people. I'm not offended by any of them, although I thought the Fat Monica episodes were very odd choice. Even at that time, like, why would you do that? But
yeah.
So those shows didn't age well. What I will say about Scrubs is because Scrubs, all their jokes are older jokes anyway. Like, they make references to like Sanford and Son and stuff like that. So it's already out of it's already out of relevance. And it's basically, and I think this is the best way of saying it, it's a live action Family Guy to some extent, because they go off on these random tangents like a Family Guy. Like, all of a sudden he'll be talking and the Kool-Aid Man jumps in. Because all those different skits play out in the main character's head, he often just like looks aside and goes to imagination. It's like a real live action version of those types of things.
Okay.
So I think the jokes and the humor has aged much better in Scrubs than it does with these other 2 shows. I think all 3 are classics, but I think Scrubs can carry longer and be relevant and still funny, where the other 2 are kind of just done.
Wow, Kevin, I think the ball was in your court and you just did a slam dunkaroo. Broke the backboard.
Like
glass
Shaq.
Everywhere. Exactly.
Yep. Don't at me, bro. But yeah, so that's where I stand. But if you are gonna watch one, watch Scrubs. It's on Hulu. You already paid for it and you're mad about it. I heard you on Say It on Flexipose. So
that's true. I would watch it, but I would end up watching 7 hours of ads just to see the whole show.
Yeah, but the episodes are like 20 minutes. You can.
So are the ads.
Oh, that's true. I have the no ads plan too. So, but I understand your justification for it. But yes. I can understand that. But all right, so enough of that one. So thank you, Devin. Thank you for that fight on that one. So Donnie has 2 questions for us this week. And these are both pretty good. What did you 2 think of the Marvel Avengers gameplay demo footage that came out this week from Gamescom? Is it better than the game's presentation from Square at E3? So we'll start with that one first. Did you watch this, Lucas?
Yes, I just watched it before we went live. And I think it looks better than the E3 presentation. I think a lot of people were confused about what they were looking at here, and this answered a lot of questions. I know a lot of people were saying that it kind of looked a little janky or something, for lack of a better word. Just looked off. And I think getting used to the idea that the likenesses aren't as the same as the movies that we've been watching for 10 years or whatever is a little bit weird. But I think this looks okay. I'm cautiously optimistic about it. I think it looks all right. One of the things, like, my big takeaway was, why haven't we seen a focused level-based action game where we change characters often to help mitigate the samey gameplay?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I like the idea of breaking it up into which characters you're going to control is like the sections of the level that you're playing, or at least I think I do. On paper, I like that idea.
No, it's very good. And so watching this footage, I agree with you. I think it was better than what they showed at E3 for sure. It made more sense as far as it being a game instead of a cinematic trailer type experience.
Yeah.
It's very much, for anybody who hasn't seen it, it comes off to me at least not like Spider-Man did with Insomniac and Sony, because it doesn't play or feel like that. It looks more like what a superhero Uncharted game would be, because the camera's very focused. The camera angles are very deliberate, so you're seeing exactly what they want you to see. The combat's a little slow. I don't want to say slower than what I would expect. But I'm same as you, cautiously optimistic. I feel better about the game. The voice acting still feels a little off with some characters,
especially
for
Captain America. I don't know. He sounded Canadian there for a second. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but he shouldn't be Canadian. He's Captain America, not Captain Canada.
Yeah, Deadpool's Captain Canada.
True.
And the Thor character model, I still say, is absolutely horrible. Thor looks bad.
I think the hair is
the beard, like it's bad. And Thor, this is the other thing and this is maybe just me being a comic book guy, Thor kicking somebody, that doesn't seem like he would kick somebody. Like he does like a Chuck Norris side kick. And
I saw.
I don't think Thor's ever kicked him. Like he punches and he's got the hammer. Like it just didn't make sense to me to even have him kick. It'd be like seeing Iron Man kick. Like, why would Iron Man kick? He's gonna punch. He's gonna shoot the blasters.
You gotta. He isn't a martial arts character either. I did think it was interesting that he threw his hammer and it doesn't just come right back all the time.
Yes, you can hold people up with it. That's awesome. I like that.
Yes, but it is funny to see him kick. It looks. It'd be one thing if he did like big boot Hulk,
Yes, that would make sense.
Wrestler style.
Yeah, like Andre the Giant, the foot to the chest or something.
Yes, but
this is a sidekick. Yeah.
Did you notice also with that combat, and even things like, I noticed the Hulk, when he runs, he'll push cars out of the way, or he flips a tank off the bridge. Everything feels slightly off, like a little floaty sort of. Like when he pulls the tank up, for instance, it takes a second for the tank to flip.
Yeah,
like you see him go up.
Animation goes first. Yep.
Yeah, and so I think there's a little bit of polish, and I'm not saying like, it has to be perfect.
This is a pre-alpha too. Like it said at the beginning of the show, it's pre-alpha footage. So I'm with you. I can forgive a little bit of that.
Yeah, but those are the things that I can see not getting fixed, and then that being a problem and turning this, what I think could be like an 8 game, into like a bad 7 or something. You know what I mean? So those are my positives and my negatives.
Yeah, I'm with you. So I'm cautiously optimistic, but I do think it's a better showing. So I'm still excited for it.
Is this a PlayStation exclusive?
No.
Okay.
This is cross-platform.
It played that way when I watched it because the video was PlayStation, and they're like, we're not gonna tell you that it's available on another platform. Like, fine, all right, good. That makes me happy.
It's because PlayStation paid for it. All right, so move on. So Donnie's second question. This story kind of came out where an Apex developer called some players freeloaders. So Donnie's question is, can a free-to-play game technically have freeloaders? Doesn't that kind of go hand in hand with the business model itself? Yes, Donnie. I don't get it. It's a free-to-play game, so much like Fortnite, like you're going to be bombarded with people playing the game simply because they can and it's free. But not every one of those people are going to buy something because they don't have to. You need to either incentivize people to want to spend money because you already gave them a bulk of what you have to offer for free. Yeah. So if you want to get them to buy something, you got to give them something a little special, a little bit more that you incentivize them to it. Or if you're a big enough fan of the game, like I know some of the staff here when it first came out was like, I'm really enjoying this, I'm going to buy currency, or I'm going to buy the battle pass because I want to support them because of what they're doing. But I think from a development side, you can't expect people to do that, especially when you have, maybe the kids who grew up playing Fortnite getting a little bit older now wanting to transition to something a little more, I don't say realistic, but a little more grounded, I guess, than what Fortnite does. Then parents are like, I haven't had to buy my kid a game in like 2 years. Let them keep playing this free game. Like it's going to happen. Yeah. As long as they have Xbox Live or PlayStation Plus or an online account, you can play this game. Like it's fine. Go ahead. So I do find it a little bit weird, but I wouldn't make too big of a deal about this because it's one developer. It's not like that was, Respawn's like press release. Like you guys are a bunch of freeloaders. This is one person who maybe had a bad day, said something they shouldn't have said, but you can't expect people to pay for something you're already giving away for free when what they've given, the battle pass and stuff like that, it's all cosmetic stuff you get. And you get some, currency to help buy the next characters when those come out, or you can put it towards the next battle pass when it comes out. But it's not like you're getting something, you're like, oh crap, this game mode is only available if I buy it. Like it's nothing like that. So it seems weird to be hard pressing fans to buy something when all it is cosmetics. So it's like, yeah, some people it doesn't matter. Like they don't care that the character has a white shirt now instead of a black shirt.
Yeah, it's true. I think when you're a game developer, I think you just stay off the internet. That's the answer. Don't look at the internet and don't respond to anything that you happen to see. That's the answer now. I read an article about how basically it's kind of a shame that this is becoming. There are times where developers actually have to like apologize or explain the reasons why they're making their game an Epic Store exclusive because they know, just trying to mitigate the onslaught of toxic gamers who are going to send death threats and fight with them and everything. And I'm just like, how people aren't going to want to make games for very much longer. You know what I mean? Like you're turning a dream into you're pooping in the pool is what you're doing.
Yeah.
Pooping in the pool.
And
nobody wants to be in that pool.
Nobody wants that.
No, nobody wants that.
It's like all these developers, especially like these indie developers, and I almost put the story in here about the Epic Store because there was like another 2 studios that got attacked because they were doing exclusives. Yep. And they're like, listen, I'm getting more money by doing this. Like this is saving my livelihood and my development, stuff like that. Like,
why you sell out?
Yeah, it's so stupid, but it's like it's almost to the point like all of these companies need to hire like somebody from marketing to simply be the voice, and like nobody else is allowed to talk. Like, no, I'm going to hire you, Lucas, and you're going to take all the beatings for everything that happens. And nobody else is ever going to say anything because we don't want trouble. Like, I'm
applying for the application for Internet Whipping Boy.
Exactly.
That needs to be a robot. Just, you know what? Somebody needs to make an AI that can fight online against the trolls so that, and the naysayers and all the haters, so that people don't have to, because robots are the only ones who will be able to keep up and put up with our shenanigans.
Or I don't know who this person is, and this is probably top secret too. Whoever runs Wendy's Twitter account, they could also handle it.
That's true.
Because they're great.
What if it is an AI programmed to make hilarious and sick burns?
Oh man.
Well, there was that. I know. Get the one that the robot that wrote the Batman script.
Oh, the Batman
thing. You can't be mad at that robot.
Nope.
It's hilarious.
Yep,
Bring it to parties.
All right. That's it for questions. So thank you everybody for sending those in. Hey, if you want to send us a question, probably the best way is make sure you join the Discord. Head over to psvg.blog, click on the Discord banner, and you can drop right in. I typically drop something the day we're going to record saying, hey, what do you want us to hear us talk about? And Lucas and I will oblige. As ridiculous as it may be, we'll do it.
It's true.
And if you don't believe it, then send us a question and find out.
I mean, you heard these last questions.
That's true.
We settled an age-old argument.
We did.
What more do you want?
Exactly. So it's time, with that being said, to move on to the news of the week.
This week in Play Some Video Game News.
Lucas, you go first.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Okay, I have an answer for you.
Kevin and everyone, actually.
Okay.
How lonely are you? On a scale from like 1 to 10, 10 being like depressingly alone, crushingly alone.
Well, you said everyone else. I'm gonna let them answer first. So if you're listening, give your answer now. Oh, really?
Man, that's a crazy answer.
That's nuts. What do you mean by lonely? As in, like, I have no friends?
Well, let me ask you this. Would you feel better if you could have some digital dogs in your life? If you could date said digital dogs? If you could be a digital dog and live in a digital dog world?
You say date dogs?
You know, I did. That's what you got out of this.
Legal in most states. Well, that was the most jarring part. You're like, would you like a pet, a digital dog? And I'm like, all right, cool. And you're like, date the dog. I was like, wait, what? No.
But you get to be a dog. It's dog on dog.
Oh.
Everything's okay. It's all interspecies. We're fine.
Okay.
This is what's the one where they eat the meat or the spaghetti? The Disney movie where they
Lady and the Tramp?
Lady and the Tramp. Hound and the Fox, Lady and the Tramp.
Fox. Okay.
Yeah, you're the lady. They're the tramp. Yep.
You just call me a tramp?
I mean, depends on what dog you pick, I guess.
Okay.
Like if you're a Chihuahua, kind of trampy. Like I could see a Chihuahua with a tramp stamp. Anyways, so this is called Best Friend Forever, and it's coming to the Nintendo Switch. If this were cats, Carol would have this pre-ordered before it was announced.
Oh, God, yeah.
So this is coming out on Valentine's Day, 2020.
How fitting.
It's described as adorable, quirky, and I mean, I guess it's basically you get to be a dog, you get to date dogs, you know? It's cartoonish. It's not realistic. Let me see if I can. Yeah. So it's like a graphic novel / pet simulator thing.
Yeah, in Best Friend Forever, you'll head to Rainbow Bay, the world's most dog-friendly town, and care for your own forever friend while meeting the local dog-loving hogs. The Mary's typical tend and befriend mechanics, letting you adopt your own fur baby after creating a dating profile. After you've picked a pup, you can enjoy the benefits of living in a hip, young neighborhood full of cool singles that love animals as much as you do. Nice. So I don't know if you're dating the dogs. I think you adopt a dog and then you date people because you have a dog. You're using the dog to pick up people.
Oh, pet dogs and date animal lovers. Dang it! I mean
it's
that
still
seems
creepy,
way more
but it's
normal.
a little less creepy. Yeah, it does seem more normal, but it's still creepy. Like, it feels that stereotypical thing that you see in like all like rom-coms, like, oh, the guy's a cute dog just to pick up chicks. Like,
now I'm kind of disappointed. I thought this was a dog dating game. Go darn it. All right. Well, anyways, I actually bring this up because every person on the core team is part of the LGBTQ plus community. I'm sorry, but if they add any more to that, I can't. We need a different acronym here. So that's pretty cool, actually.
That is pretty cool.
They want everyone to play the game how they want to, which means it'll be open to whatever you're feeling.
Except dating your dog.
Didn't we already? Yes, except dating dogs. That's out of the picture. But didn't we already say that your sexuality is fluid?
Yes.
That was the show, right? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that was going to get really awkward. So there you go.
I think it was actually Fluxtapose, but yes, I remember it was being called out.
Close enough.
Close enough. Same thing at this point.
They're slowly merging into one another, like two suns coming together. Yeah, so if you're lonely, you can pick up Nintendo Switch's Best Friend Forever. However, you're going to have to wait until Valentine's Day 2020. That's kind of a long ask, but
I mean, if you're a lonely person, that's the worst day for a lonely person, so you can make it a little bit better by picking this game up.
Exactly. And if you're lonely, just join our Discord and we'll talk to you.
There you go. About dating your dog.
Exactly. Oh, gosh. I'm going to have to explain there's no dog dating for like a year now.
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
Oh, well.
Right.
Oh, well. All right. So that's what I have.
All right. So moving on. Sony's big news, and this is a little bit old, but I think it's worth talking about. Sony's acquisition of Insomniac Games hit. So while this isn't really... Coach Hulk made a lot of pokes and prods about like, well, duh, they make so many games for Sony, but it's still a big deal because Insomniac Games mostly makes games that people enjoy, and they have made games for Xbox and Sunset Overdrive, and there's a VR game that they just did too, Edge of Nowhere for Oculus.
I've played that actually.
Okay, so see, this is bigger than it seems then, because yes, they have done development for other things, which they may still do at Sony, or Sony may keep them all for themselves. But it's the first step in Sony kind of fighting back in that whole Microsoft's acquiring people left and right. And you think about what Microsoft has gotten. They've gotten Double Fine, Obsidian, Compulsion, Playground, Undead Labs, Ninja Theory, those ones. Maybe this is controversial, and maybe you'll back me up in here. I don't really know. I think Insomniac Games is a bigger get than any of those other studios. Like, it's not the same level in my mind. Like, yes, Insomniac's not a Naughty Dog, but that's better than a Double Fine. Like, Playground Games. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how to.
They're not an indie developer, or like that weird in between.
Yeah. Where
they're like one above, but they're still getting their games kickstarted or whatever.
Yes. So it's a good sign, I think. And I don't want to say it's a surprise, but you got to imagine that PlayStation just threw like a pile of cash at them for this.
Well, with their VR experience, you'd think they would also want. I mean, that's like a twofer, right? You get the VR experience, you get their experience with creating things like Marvel Spider-Man. It's not a dumb move. It's really smart, and I hope they can at least continue to, I don't know, to like timed exclusives or something, because they make cool games. So
yeah, it might be worth it too. You think about it. So like, yes, you want exclusives to drive people to your platform, but I think Microsoft, although Microsoft says they're getting away from it, but Microsoft allowing their developers to publish on like Nintendo and theirs, you gotta imagine that makes them more money, like long term.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you want to stop it now? Something maybe like Spider-Man, they don't want to put on both because they want that. Like that was a console seller game. But if they were to do something else and maybe not as big, then put it on cross-platform and make some extra money out of that.
But we're talking about Sony, so
that's true.
They take their ball and they go home.
That's usually true. That's true. So I think the big question is everyone's wondering what they've been working on, because so Insomniac has two different studios or two different teams underneath them. So Spider-Man came out almost a year ago at this point, or getting close to this fall to be a year. So what has that other studio been working on? You got to figure you'd be hearing something soon. So a lot of people are rumbling that, do we see a return to Resistance? Because they also put out a tweet about a week before this acquisition was done, with the old poster from like Resistance 2. So people are contemplating, is it a remaster? Is it a remaster collection? Or is it a new entry in the series? So maybe we'll find out soon, but I think it's pretty exciting.
As somebody who doesn't have a Sony PlayStation, I'm only saddened that they may be. All the good ones are getting scooped up, man.
They are.
Ah, well. Better to have loved and lost than never loved at all.
Unless you love your dog.
I don't
mean like love your dog. I mean love your dog.
Okay. Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Which I do. Okay.
You date your dog?
I mean, until it had fleas.
Oh.
Mm.
All right. What's next?
I gave it the fleas.
Oh God.
Let's talk about Mortal Kombat 11. So the DLC roster has been revealed, and I don't think anybody will be surprised necessarily by the type of the characters that have been announced, but I think they will be surprised by the quality and who they are, I guess. Mm-hmm. So in Mortal Kombat 10, we had Jason Voorhees, Leatherface, and some other ones like that. A lot of horror icons.
It was all horror. I think it was all horror, yeah.
Yeah. In this one, we're getting to include the already announced Mortal Kombat original characters.
Yep.
So there was Nightwolf, Shang Tsung, and Sindel is yet to come out.
Yes.
Including those ones is also Terminator, which, by the way, have you seen the render of this guy?
I'm
Terminator
looking at it right now.
Oh my gosh, it's him. Like, why do we even make movies with real people anymore? Spawn, awesome. And a really interesting take on the Joker. I would like to know what your thoughts on this are.
Yeah, the Joker's a weird one. So considering this team makes Injustice, and they just
you would have thought
Injustice 2, and it was really, really cool, the Joker just seems a little off. Yeah, I don't know. I'm watching the footage right now as soon as this ad is done. But Terminator is awesome. Like, that hands down is incredible. Spawn is a great addition. Like, I actually, a lot of people thought Spawn was going to hit on Injustice. Like, that was heavily rumored for a while that they were going to be the character in there. And then it ended up being like the Ninja Turtles, which was still awesome, but ultimately a better fit.
That makes more sense. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I read in a different article, I read that Spawn was tired of being the worst character on what's that sword fighting game?
Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur, thank you.
Yeah.
Gosh, I was like, that's funny.
Yeah, the Joker, it's weird because it's like a young Joker. Like, I don't know, he looks childish, like almost like in his early 20s. Like, I want to say, like, he looks like
he looks like he just went to college.
Yeah, so it doesn't seem like the grizzled, like the Joker in Injustice is like grizzled. He's rough. You can tell he's been through some stuff. And this one seems to be like clean cut, which in my mind doesn't fit Mortal Kombat like right there alone. Like he's not scarred, he's not beat up, he's not all rough and rugged. Like he's like, no, I'm the fresh faced Joker. So
he looks like he's wearing a mask of the Joker. You know what I mean? Like if I could see the way he's smiling in this still, it looks like he just has a Joker mask on almost.
Yeah.
So like plastered on his face.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I want to see some stuff in action because I haven't seen anything like with him actually fighting or anything yet. Just kind of like this announcement trailer. So when I see that, maybe I'll have more to say about it. But like I like the picks. I think they're great picks. Joker just seems a little weird just because he was just in Injustice, which they did. So I'm sure he'll play differently, but it almost seemed lazy. Like you already did this. Like why are you?
They have the rights to him, so they're just like, well.
Guess.
Although if it came down to if not having the Joker, just put him in then, I guess. Like if it was either all of them except the Joker or include the Joker and it's kind of like a bonus one, then I guess I'll take it that way. But and I fully would have expected them just copy and paste. So I guess at least they didn't do that.
It is different. Yeah, hands-on is different. I want to see the moveset to be like, oh, it's definitely different. But yeah, it visually he looks different right off the bat. It's not even the same outfits or anything like that of that nature.
Quick question. Do we need a new Spawn movie, in your opinion?
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, the old one was surprisingly decent.
Yes.
Did not age well at all.
No.
But for its time, it was really cool. I'd love to see what somebody could do with that story and that character now.
Especially with the CGI where it is right now. Like,
right. I thought somebody was doing that, though, already. Wasn't there?
There was a fan-made film, and I thought that was going to translate into a movie, but I think it stalled, maybe? I don't remember.
That's the better box office. Yeah, I guess nothing, yeah. Last update was at the end of last year. Or January 2nd. Todd McFarlane promises the Spawn movie would be dark and ugly and have absolutely no joy. That's right. Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx was supposed to be it. That's right.
Oh.
It's supposed to be Jamie Foxx. Jeremy Renner is supposed to be in it as well as an unannounced character. So like the cast may be good, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not crazy about Jamie Foxx. I was just talking to my wife about that when we were talking about the Spider-Man debacle.
Yeah.
And I said, the worst Spider-Man movie might have been that one with Jamie Foxx in it. Like it was just a terrible movie.
I don't know if that was his fault.
Right. I'm not sure it was his fault, but he didn't help it though either at all. It wasn't like, oh, it was a bad story, but he was really good in it. It's like, no, it was a bad story and he wasn't good in it. So I don't know.
That's true. That's a good point.
So we'll see. But I think special effects wise, it could be really awesome. You look at did you see Venom?
Yes, unfortunately. Okay. Yes.
So not the best thing, but it visually was interesting enough. And it just kind of screamed Spawn to me just because of the way he moved and stuff like that. They're very similar.
It's a lot at night too. A lot of things happen at night, it seemed like. Yeah. So I can see that, yeah.
So I think it might be interesting if you take that feel and translate it over. Might be interesting.
And write it good.
Worth a watch, maybe. As you're famous for saying, it's a 7. It could be a 7. It could be a good 7. It could be a bad 7, but it'd be a 7.
It's true.
Without even seeing it, we're already saying it's a 7. Yeah.
It's a 7. Yeah.
All right. Moving on. So Australia. The country that has all these creatures that try and kill you and maim you, stuff like that. They have a problem with some games, Lucas. They've banned at least 4 video games in the last 3 months.
I've heard that they are very strict on their games there.
Yeah, which is weird because you think of the Aussie, spirit.
They seem so laid back and just have a good time and whatever.
Crocodile Dundee, it's
I'm just realizing I only know of what I know of Australians is from television movies, so that's probably why I'm so surprised that they're so not laid back.
that could be the case. But basically, so long story short, the legislation back in the 90s when the gaming ratings first kind of came out, T for teen, M for mature, Australia didn't have an adult only or equivalent to AO until 2013. Until then, movies, TV shows, and other media couldn't be rated higher than 18 plus. Other media could be rated higher than 18 plus, but not video games.
Oh.
So now that they've added it, it changes the scope of what they can and can't allow. So basically, any interactivity with sex, violence, or drug use would increase that rating beyond what Australia basically allows. So the most recent one, DayZ. So this is an old game at this point.
Yeah.
That's one of those banned games. Super unrealistic, bad graphics. You know, there's the precursor to like PUBG and Fortnite and Apex, all these games we play now. Like this was the daddy that kind of started this type of thing. Also, in addition to that, We Happy Few, Hotline
That
Miami.
surprised me.
Yep. An unnamed game known as Bon Air, which they think may be the Red Dead Redemption 2 DLC that might be coming out eventually. But all of these games are weird because they'd already been classified. We Happy Few, Hotline Miami, and Daisy were already classified in Australia, but because of re-releases or DLC, the game had to be re-reviewed by the board. So this change, even though the game used to be allowed, is actually making the games not be allowed. So like Hotline Miami, you could buy on PC in Australia, and it's fine. But now because of the new ratings, Hotline Miami on like Switch will be banned.
I don't think they understand what their classifications are there for. You're not supposed to use it to censor your people. I mean, they can make their own decisions about what they want to see.
Mm-hmm.
It's just supposed to tell you what is in the actual game. Like, what am I going to see when I boot this up? Am I going to hear swearing? Am I going to see blood?
Yeah.
What? Not, oh, we can't actually rate this, so you just don't get to play it. That's a bummer, man.
And that's the thing. So the ESRB is run with industry folks in Europe and US, but in Australia, it's government run. So this is like, yep.
We dodged a bullet, everybody. You can thank Mortal Kombat for that one.
Yep. Everybody that talks about like, oh, when the government gets mad at video games, this is what would happen if you let the government potentially run that, is they would just say this game is not allowed.
This is why all the gaming, all of the loot box stuff, they're all scrambling to do it themselves so that the government doesn't step in, because then they actually have to play by the rules instead of make up their own thing that may or may not be good.
Yep.
But I'm sure they really don't want the government to step in. How am I going to make money off my video games now? Gosh,
I mean,
people.
Imagine you look at all the studios that go out of business now. Imagine if like a studio made a game and it's like, oh, by the way, you can't release that game.
Ugh.
Well, I just paid people for 2 years to work on this game and now it can't be released. How are they going to get any money back?
You're the one who put stuff in it that we can't show, idiot.
How dare they use a hypodermic needle to heal their wounds after they get shot? You know, it's like they're okay with shooting somebody, but if you use like a painkiller, and like you do in DayZ, like that's what you do. You take painkillers to give your person like a temporary boost. Doing that is what makes it.
Well, then we shouldn't be able to play Max Payne because there's a huge opioid crisis right now.
God,
so,
Yep.
Thanks a lot, Max Payne. Gosh.
Man, I was just gonna play Max Payne.
And eat painkillers.
Oh. All right, what you
got? It's a good combo. Let's talk about nipples. Can we talk about nipples for a second?
I guess so. Are they censored in Australia? They banned?
I don't know. This might be why that might explain this strange calamity here.
Okay.
So I saw this and I'm just like, we have to talk about this. So there's this Sonic and Mario at the Olympics games game, because it seems like they've done these in the past, these Olympic games.
Yeah.
Okay. Wario doesn't have nipples, but Eggman or Dr. Robotnik, depending on your how you feel, he's got nipples. Wario no nipples though. What is the reasoning here? Nipplegate. I need to know.
That's very weird. And like there's pictures of like zoomed in too. He doesn't have nipples.
And like Dr. Eggman, he's got like it's one or the other. Did somebody just forget to paint the nipples on? I don't know.
I'm
so
thinking.
Many questions.
Yeah, this is weird. And especially when you think of what was it, Mario Odyssey, you could do the boxer shorts outfit or the bathing suit, what was it? And you would see Mario's nipples.
Oh yeah.
But Wario doesn't. So Mario gets them, but Wario doesn't. Yep. Maybe it's because Wario is the evil Mario, and maybe evilness is tied to not having nipples.
Whoa. Maybe he's an android from Nier Automata. We're cracking the case. I do want to say, though, Wario would not have a baby skin body, stomach. That thing, he's going to look like Zangief.
He also has no belly button. Yeah, I would expect him to be hairy. You're right.
Yeah, he doesn't have a belly button, but does Eggman? No. Well, he's got his trousers.
He's got his pants up high.
He's way up. He's waiting for the flood. Also, he swims in weird like jeggings that like like you're supposed to be wearing shorts. You're not doing it right.
Well, no, in the Olympics now they wear those pants, like superhero pants, like
Do they really?
spandex. Yeah.
I'm not a huge. I'm okay with the Winter Olympics, but the summer.
Yeah, summer's not as fun. I
Too
agree
hot.
with you. But yeah, so that's weird. So yeah, just in case you're wondering, Wario has no nipples.
Mario has no nipples. Ugh. I can't play any of the games that feature him now without thinking about that. Smooth moves. Now we know why his moves are so smooth. Nipples aren't getting in the way.
What we need to know now is when this game is released, we need to know what characters have nipples and what don't. Because we'll see all the characters. So this article makes a point. Is like, does Waluigi have nipples then? How about Luigi?
I think that's a fair point, and we have to be all inclusive of our nipples.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Oh no.
Does Princess Peach have nipples?
Maybe
not.
We don't want to go there.
Does my dog have nipples?
maybe you want to go there, but we don't.
I think the internet has already gone there enough for that topic.
Probably. All right, so last story, just because I like making Donnie mad, we're gonna talk a little Dr. Disrespect. So, no controversy, no nothing like this, but he is, because he's a character, he has been bored with current game offerings. So what he's decided to do is challenge himself to what he calls the triple threat, and he is attempting right now to get the world's record fastest time to get a win in 3 separate battle royale games. And I think the record was, I looked up earlier, I think it's like an hour and 40 minutes. So basically he would have to get a win in like Fortnite, then jump to the next game, get a win in the next game, jump to Apex, do it like that. So not the same game, 3 wins. It's just 3 wins.
Does that include the amount of time it takes to get into a lobby?
I believe so, because I don't know how he's timing it.
Okay.
But so anyway, his biggest complaint about PUBG lately, which is the game he's arguably probably the best at for him, like he's really good at sniping and stuff like that. It's pretty incredible to watch him play these games. He yesterday while streaming was so bored with the game, he's decided to stop playing, pretend to fall asleep, and he still won. He still won.
Did the circle close in on the other person?
Yep. Basically, he got 8 kills in the match. So it wasn't like he had a game where he was just running and hiding. Like he killed 8 other players in the match. So that's pretty darn good. Made it to the center of the circle, was waiting in position to take out the other players. Was in the position for a while looking for anybody. Nobody was coming around, so he decided to pretend to fall asleep. And it goes on for like a good minute and a half. The game ends. He still holds the position of him asleep for a good minute after that. And then he wakes up and goes, huh? How long was I out for? And he's like, this is too easy. He's like yelling and then goes back into the next game. But
this isn't the innate problem with your game if people are dying instead of actually fighting each other. I mean, I know that's not always the case.
Yeah.
And I understand the circle tries to mitigate that, but that is ridiculous. Like that other person must feel like an idiot now.
Yeah. And it
probably
happens.
Doesn't even know.
No, they probably doesn't know that he was playing against the doctor. But it's bad when your biggest supporter, I think, as far as streaming with Dr. Disrespect, like the biggest vocal player that streams it most, this and that, is bored with your game. Like he has literally gone on the record saying like, I'm tired of the game, I'm bored, but he keeps playing because that's what people like to see him get into a match and get like 12 kills and these crazy snipes he does. He pretended it was the same stream. He actually was driving in a car and people were shooting at him from far away. He completely calmly, like no reaction, parks the car, steps outside the car, snipes through both car windows, through a window in a house at least like 300 yards away, and one shot kills the dude. Then gets back in the car and just drives away and pretends to then take a phone call from somebody. It's like, oh yeah, you like that snipe? Yeah, it's pretty incredible, huh? Like, and then he just goes back to playing. Like, it's insane. But I find it quite funny because it's one of these skits that he does that I enjoy. Like I said, I don't sit there and watch him for like 3 hours while he streams, but I like to pick up these little highlights because I find him amusing. It's very much, I've said it a million times. I don't know why Donnie won't watch him. He's a wrestler playing a video game. That's what he does.
I like it. I will admit I haven't seen a lot, but even just watching this little clip of him falling asleep and waking up was funny enough. It's the way he delivers it.
Yes, 100%.
It's surprisingly good acting. So.
Yep. So very, very funny. The other bit of news with him, which I did find kind of interesting, and this is probably a good fit for him. So you might know a little bit more about this, Lucas, but apparently a big thing lately has been Grand Theft Auto role playing.
I mean, I didn't know it was much of a thing with that game because most people can't keep from just shooting you as soon as you spawn in. But it doesn't surprise me because you would assume that would drive people who don't want to do that together. And I know there are other games trying to fulfill the cops and robbers and all that. I have heard of this. Yeah.
So there's a certain company that's doing this and like hosting a server and allowing people to do it. It's like invitation only can get you into this, and you got to stick to the role playing rules. And there's a couple streamers that are already doing it, but Doc went on Twitter 2 days ago and basically said he wants in. And this
Awesome.
might be a good move for this group that does it, because clearly he's good at staying in character, because it's hard to tell the difference as to whether or not, like, when you see him not playing this role and acting this way, you're like, wow, he's a normal guy. But like, you just can't separate the person from the character. So it'd be really funny to see him in Grand Theft Auto, but he would still, in my mind, have to be Dr. Disrespect. Like, he couldn't play somebody else. Like, he'd have to just be himself in the game.
Yeah. I think I've seen, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think I've seen video, and they mod the server even.
Yes.
So that you can like play a cop, pull people over, and all this other stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah. So it's application only, you have to apply this and that, but obviously a person who now has the highest Twitch viewership now that Ninja's gone, like, if you say you want in, I find it very hard to believe that they would say no.
Bend the rules. Come on.
Yeah. As long as he's genuine in wanting to do this, I figure they gotta let him in. So, but yeah, that's it. That's all I got. So let's wrap this thing up.
All right. I bet nobody just talked about any of what we just talked about. And that's why you come to this show, to listen to us.
You know what? That's darn true. Well, no, I bet somebody talked about the acquisition of Insomnia.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
I'm sure.
That's right. Well,
but everything else doesn't
balance that out with nipples and dogs.
Exactly. So see everybody, we're not just another gaming podcast. We are the gaming podcast. We talk about the stuff that matters to folks. You don't hear this anywhere else. Literally.
Down to earth. Yeah. Nobody else would bother themselves to talk about the things that we talk about.
And not even you, the listeners, after hearing us talk about it, will talk about this.
It just flows right over you. Mm-hmm. You didn't even want us to talk about it, but you listened.
Yep.
Here you are.
Yeah.
You didn't know you wanted it.
We tricked you.
Boom. Show's over.
Yep. That's it. So Lucas, where can people find you and other things you might be involved with?
Usually I'm right behind you, but other than that, I was looking at you. He found me. I was the reason the curtain was moving that one time. Everyone freaked out. It was actually me the whole time.
Lucas is in my laundry room.
I'm on Discord a lot, really. I sometimes I go on Twitter, but sometimes I see 25 notifications and I go, yeah, I'm gonna clear all that. So, Discord is a good place for you to find me, or you can @ me at heavymetalriff_ in there somewhere.
You got to figure it out.
You have to guess.
Don't @ the wrong heavy metal riff.
It's one of those names where you won't talk to the wrong person because nobody else has that name. It'll just tell you that person doesn't exist, and then you'll know when you get it right.
Fair enough. So you can follow me if you'd like at PSVG Kevin on Twitter. But much like Lucas, I spend most of my day in the Discord when I'm supposed to be working, but not working.
It's true.
So really join us there is what we're saying. That's the best place to engage with us and join in the conversation, both about Wario's nipples or, dating your dog. It's fine. There's a place for you here. So head over to the website, psvg.blog, to find all the things, all the great shows we do, all the great offerings. You can check out the Patreon if you're interested to get all those great goodies. Do want to shout out to our fan Kaiju guy. Started college. Congratulations, buddy. Stay focused.
Nice.
Good luck with that. We're here for you. But yeah, I guess most importantly, more than anything else, we just ask that you never
stop
gaming.
This has been a PSVG production. Any music, sound effects, or the like is owned by their respective copyright holders. No infringement is intended. The views expressed in this production are those of the individual contributor and may not necessarily reflect PSVG. This production may not be repurposed, reused, or redistributed without the express written consent of PSVG. PSVG is powered by patrons at patreon.com/PSVG. Become a patron to get special perks, including access to exclusive content.